Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. I'm happy to have all of you with us today. This is Yasser Al-Hamidi, Mechanical Engineering Labs Manager at Texas A&M University at Qatar. And hopefully we will have an interesting journey today. And I hopefully will be able to walk you through a journey from the time in which you decide to open or start up your business till the time in which you decide to push your product to the market. There will be, as I was informed, like a question and answer button which you can press whenever you have any question. I will do my best to answer questions. So what I will be talking about today is basically the whole cycle and process of product development and design. I will shed the light on particularly on opportunity identification, how to really find a market opportunity when you start up your business, then how you identify customer needs and how to translate these customer needs into product specifications. And I will try to end up my presentation or workshop today with showing you some techniques in which you can come up with with different concepts and select these concepts. The product development process, which we will be talking about today, follows a structured flow of activity and information flow. And what I would like to start up with today is to show you different types of these processes. So the one on the top here is the one which we usually use for generic type of products. So this one is used to develop, like, let's say, market pull technology or technology push products or platform or process intensive or even customized and high risk products. For other type of products, like the ones we refer to as a quick build products, we use the other one. For quick build products, as you can see here, the difference from the generic one that we need to go into different iterations of design, build, and test to be able to push the product to the market. And for some other complex products, the nature of the product will force you somehow to decompose and divide this product into different subsystems, and then there will be a different team which will be handling each of these subsystems before they decide to integrate all of these to come up with the whole product. So just to make sure we have 1 hour, I would like to make sure we cover all the different aspects. As I mentioned, there is a generic one. However, it really varies between different products. And these are the different products which you might think of. My talk today will be more into the technology push products. Okay, something very important when it comes to technology-based products, we have to think about 2 dimensions. I noticed that most of startups, they don't really follow some structured and systematic way in which they identify the opportunity. They have to understand that there are 2 dimensions, and these 2 dimensions are very essential in selecting and trying to identifying what market opportunity to follow. These 2 dimensions is the extent to which you as a development team aware about the solution or the market need first, and then the extent to which, and this is the second dimension, the extent to which you as a development team are familiar with the solution being implemented to address this market need. As you can see here, I wanted to show you this. You have different horizons, and the higher the horizon, the more the risk in your business. As you can see here, if you are aware about the technology and the market, then you are basically, your idea falls under the horizon 1 opportunity, which is a very low risk in investment. As you go up to the horizon 3, in which you are trying to implement a new solution, a new technological solution, and you are actually targeting a new market for you, so you don't have much information about the market being targeted for your product, then you are basically, your product falls under the horizon 3 opportunity, which is a high risk especially for startups. I forgot to mention that the generic development process starts with the planning phase. And the most important part of the planning phase is to be able to identify the market opportunity. There is a way and there's always a process to make sure that you do this successfully. You need to follow to be able to identify an idea which would be really successful to be offered to the market. And this process is simply, you need to establish a charter. This is an innovations charter, just simply to limit the scope of your search in the market. So you have to have some constraints or boundaries for your search. Then you need to start gathering and collecting a lot of ideas, and you check a lot within the charter here. You need to collect a lot of ideas, and you screen these ideas to basically come up with an outstanding idea which you as a development team would feel good about it, that will be successful in the market. So the innovation charter, again, just articulates goals and establishes boundaries conditions for your innovation efforts. I wanted to show you this, which is a survey, and based on a survey of companies across many industries, as you can see here from this chart. And here I'm talking about, again, how to identify an opportunity in the market. So as part of this, after you start or after you articulate your charter, innovation charter, then you need to start gathering ideas. And there are many ways and techniques in which you can brainstorm ideas or market opportunities. Again, as based this survey here, you can see that half of the ideas are generated internally to your organization. So if you have a startup company, and you have to realize that in most of the cases, based on a survey, half of the ideas are generated internally. And as you can see here, the other half is using the external resources. Also, it's very important if you have a startup company and you would like to penetrate the market to follow a systematic approach, as I mentioned. And you can actually think about this as an innovation tournament. So here, it's very useful to try to gather as much as you can of market opportunities. Then you get these opportunities filtered through different filtration stages until you really reach a point in which you can have 1 or 2 champions. These are your outstanding ideas. Again, the filtration processes here select just subsets of ideas for further investigation and development, and eventually you pick one of these ideas. These are some techniques you need to follow if you would like to generate or brainstorm ideas. You need to follow your personal passion here, or maybe simply identify unmet needs that have some connection with your personal interest. Compile a bug list is also a good idea. You have to always be unsatisfied about anything you meet during the day. And maybe you list all of these annoyances or frustrations you encounter over a period of time. And then you pick the most universal ones and start to dream up solutions. As you can see, especially for engineers, any problem is an opportunity for engineers. Also, you need to rely on the uniqueness of your team, the resources, and these usually resources should be valuable, rare, and non-substitutable. You need also, when it comes to identifying an opportunity, to identify the implication of trends. Like just recently, I reviewed one of the proposals in which they are coming up with a product, which is a really interesting product. However, they overlook the fact that there is another trend in this area, which would really eliminate the need for such products. So you have to be very careful when it comes to coming up with a market opportunity. You have to watch out for what's going on around this product and what are the trends in this field. For example, if you are talking about autonomous cars and you are trying to develop something related to autonomous cars, you need to understand that what's going on in this field, so you make sure that your product will survive for long. This is the funnel for different industries. I mean, most of the startups, they think that they come up with an idea they can just simply push to the market. I just wanted to show them that in some industries, like the pharmaceutical industry, they have to brainstorm more than 1,000 ideas to be able to reach a point in which they can really take one idea further for development. And this is a little bit less for different industries. So please make sure or to understand that it's not just simply you think about an idea and you just proceed with this idea. You need to go through this tournament in which you gather a lot of ideas and then you start filtering these ideas, narrowing down your selection until you feel that there is really a good idea which worth your investment and worth to be taken further for development. Okay. All what I mentioned so far was about planning. Planning is always very crucial to the success of anything you do. This is what we are going to go through, hopefully, throughout this workshop here. And the second and the most important stage in your product development cycle is the concept development. As you can see here, I listed all the sub-stages which fall under the concept development. And I will be spending some time now to explain to you how to deal with these different sub-stages. First of all, when we talk about concept, we need to understand that a concept is a description of a form, function, and features of your product, and usually accompanied with set of specifications. We will be talking about what it means when we say like specifications, analysis of competitive products, and economical justification of your product. As you can see here also that it is always, you will notice that a core of the whole work around your product is to be able to identify customer needs. I believe customer needs, from my experience, is the most crucial part in the whole cycle of your product development. And identifying a customer needs is very important because you ensure that your product is focused on these customer needs. This is an important aspect you need to follow. You can also identify latent needs or hidden needs in addition to the explicit needs. Sometimes, if you would like to be a pioneer in the market, you have to identify latent needs. These are the hidden. So it is required, it is needed for customers, but even the customers themselves don't know about these latent needs. And a good example is the smartphone. We used to have like mobile phones, we used to have cameras, and Apple were able to identify this latent need, which is to have a smartphone, which basically includes both of them. Also, when you identify or when you go through the process of identifying customer needs, you ensure that there are no critical customer needs which are missed or forgotten. And finally, and this is also an important aspect to worry about, is you need to make sure that you develop a common understanding among all development team members. So we are talking again about customer needs here, and you need to understand also that customer needs are independent of any particular product. So a lot of entrepreneurs, when they go to the customers and they start collecting or elicit their needs about a specific product, they got confused with collecting these customer needs. When it comes to customer needs, you have to follow the what, not how principle in determining your customer needs, which means simply make sure you don't listen to the customer, because most of the customers will basically suggest some solutions. Customer needs will have to be independent of any technological solution. Again, what the customer needs, not how that need will be addressed. Okay. Again, we are still talking about customer needs, and I would like to explain in this slide the process of customer needs. Customer needs process starts with the mission statement. The mission statement is basically the output of that planning phase. As we said, stage 0 is your planning stage, and the outcome of this, after you basically select your outstanding idea, this is my idea, which I will be taking further for development, then you have to establish basically as a need statement or a mission statement, sorry, for this specific idea. I will be showing you shortly an example of this mission statement. Then you will have to go through all of this process in which you gather data by interviews, by observations, and then you interpret these data, you organize the data and remove any redundant data, establish importance of these customer needs, because it's very important to identify the critical customer needs, which will be your focus during the development process. Again, just to remind you, this is the process of customer needs, and I'm talking now about identifying customer needs, which falls under the concept development. So now my talk will be about concept development, and I'm highlighting the identification of customer needs. Okay, the customer needs identification starts with the mission statement. Mission statement is important because it gives you, as written here, it's basically a brief description of your product. So the mission statement just specifies which direction to go in, but generally do not specify a precise destination or a particular way to proceed. So it's just, again, a generic guidance about where to go to. And here in your mission statement, you try to identify your business goals. What are your business goals? Your markets, target markets, the primary and secondary markets, some assumptions or constraints, and the stakeholders. This is the mission statement. After you establish the mission statement for your product as part of your customer need identification process, then you need to gather raw data from your customers. And there are many ways you can go for one-on-one interviews and discuss the needs with single customers. And usually these are 1 or maximum 2 hours interviews. You can go for a focus groups. Here we have a moderator to facilitate a 2-hour discussion with a group of maybe 8 to 12 customers. These are typically conducted in a special type of rooms equipped with a 2-way mirror to allow several members of the development team to observe the customers while dealing with the product. Also, a good way to gather raw data about your product is to see some similar products, and you observe these similar products in their environment use. Some practitioners rely on surveys And there is a lot of debate about surveys and how surveys are really effective to collect or to reveal some customer need information. Interesting study I wanted also to show to you, because it's very important. Like we have two ways. We have one-on-one interviews. You simply go as a team member, as one of the development team members. You can go and meet with a customer and you try to have 1 hour discussion with this customer, or you can have a focus group of 8 to 12 people. As you can see here, don't get a wrong impression that really focus groups reveal more information than one-on-one interviews. As per this one, here we have a comparison of percentages of customer needs that are revealed for focus groups and for interviews as a function of the number of sessions. So as you can see here, for example, towards the end, you can do 9 individual interviews with customers, and this will be equivalent to 9 or 8 focus groups, and they are going to reveal almost the same amount of information about customer needs. So something to note here that usually these in US are free, the interviews are free, but focus groups, they cost each of them like at least $5,000. So what I recommend usually entrepreneurs to start with interviews as primary data collection, and then they maybe can go for 1 or 2 focus groups as a way just to allow the top management to observe customers. Okay, now we collected all of the raw data. We need to interpret these data. So usually the best way to do or to express customer needs is to have them written as need statements. So again, the need statements, and I will show an example, is totally different from the raw data. The raw data will be, first of all, collected by different team members, and then there will be maybe some redundant information. You need just to write these as a need statements, and there is a guidelines to be able to write these need statements for your product. And these are some quick guidelines. You need to express them. Again, the need statement will have to show what the product has to do, okay? Try to be as close. By the way, the first two guidelines here are fundamental and critical to effective translation from the raw data to the need statements. And the remaining 3 is just simply to ensure consistency of phrasing and style across all team members, because again, these customer needs or the raw data will be collected by different customers. I would like to stress the point that customers often express their preferences by describing solutions or solution concepts. You need to make sure that your need statement should just express the need independent of any particular technological solution here. Okay, then you need to organize, and organizing your data simply, you have to print, maybe you have them on sticky notes. You eliminate redundant ones. If they are identical, you eliminate them. Then you can group them as per the number of needs. If you have really a very good number of needs, if you are working on a complex product, you will have to really organize these into different groups. And maybe you label them, and this is actually the way in which you can organize these needs. Then you can move forward to the next step. Now, something like people here usually, the mistake they do is basically to classify them as per some technological solutions or physical like components or whatever. This is, again, another mistake. Please, when it comes to customer needs, make sure you separate these customer needs from any conceptual or technological solution. Okay, so now we organize these needs. I will show you an example. We need to establish the importance of each of these customer needs, because usually when you start the development, the actual development process, you need to really focus or start or highlight or you concentrate basically on the critical needs, and then you go to address other needs. To be able to do so, you need just simply to establish or to rank these as per their importance. And usually there are two basic ways to do this. Maybe you have a consensus among team members on specific needs. These are the critical needs. Or as always, use and just check with the customers which ones are really the critical needs for the customers. Then you establish this importance of the needs. So again, a sense of relative importance of various needs is essential to making these trade-offs also correctly later on. And as always, the customer needs and any process ends by you review the process and you reflect how to improve this process. So now we talked about customer needs, and hopefully now we understand that the customer needs, or to identify customer needs, and more importantly, the critical ones, is an essential to the success of your product. Now we need to translate these customer needs into a more technical language, which the development team can use to position the product in the market. By the way, now even you can position your product in the market before even you develop any concept. So we are still even before the concept generation and selection here. You can really identify the so-called target specifications. So now I have an idea in my mind. This is my champion. This is the outcome of the tournament, which I did. I have needs, the customer needs for this idea. I need just to translate these needs into specifications. These are target specifications. I'm not sure yet if I will be able to achieve these targets or not. And this is why here you will see down the road, we have set final specifications. After you come up with, or after you go through the concept generation and selection, then you have more understanding about the product and its limitations, and then you can set your final specifications. So again, it's always for technology in intensive products, specifications are established at least twice. You have the target and you have the final. The final specifications is basically a refined version after your product concept has been selected. Again, you put these target specifications. Maybe you fail to meet some of these specifications, or you might even exceed some of other specifications. All of this depends really on the product concept you as a development team eventually will have to select. Okay, now we will go through the process of identifying these specifications. Again, I have no clue how my product will work. All what I have is the customer needs. So can we, from these customer needs, really come up with a target specification for my product? Yes, we do. And the way to do it is by establishing a list of metrics for these needs. So we need to do a translation from the needs to these metrics. These are performance metrics. So again, just to make it clear, we are talking about target specifications. These are the goals you as a development team are targeting. And these just describe the product which you believe as a team would succeed in the marketplace. Now, you need to come up as a first step in this translation you need to come up with useful metrics that reflect really directly, or let's say that the most useful metrics you come up with are that ones which reflect as directly as possible the degree to which your product satisfies the customer needs. Now here, this relationship between the customer needs and these newly established metrics is central to the entire concept of specifications. As I mentioned just right now, these target specifications will be the language you use among the development team members to position your product compared to other competitive products. Again, here, these are some guidelines for these metrics. I would go for an example just to make sure we understand well what we mean by specifications. But before that, your metrics will have to be complete, which means it really reflects the customer needs. It should be dependent, and I will talk about this shortly, why it should be dependent, not independent, because if you have independent metrics, then you have no room where you can really maneuver with design variables in your product. It should be practical. For example, especially for startups, you don't have a metric or specification for your product which would require you to go to a national lab, for example, and pay a lot of money to be able to investigate if that metric is met or not. You have to be able visually to determine if that metric is satisfied or not. Let's assume we have a startup company which would like to develop a bike suspension fork. Okay. Sorry. Okay, as you can see here, as we explained, you have to start with customer needs. And this is the need statements written in a very good way as per the guidelines, which I just explained here, with their ranking and importance. For example, easy to install here, it was ranked first, which means this is the most critical and most important customer need. And the same for works with vendors is one. Number 5 here maybe are less important customer needs. You are going to deal with all of these customer needs, but again, having or ranking the importance of these customer needs would really help you during the whole development process. Then you establish metrics, as you can see here. Metrics, I mean, these are the target specifications. And each specification is simply 2 parts. The metric itself, the performance metric, which I am trying to use to reflect that customer need, and then the value of that metric. So at this point, we're not going to look at these values because we need to do benchmarking first, which I will be discussing shortly. So this is just an example. We list all of these metrics. And as you can see here in the second column here, I have numbers for the needs which are connected to this metric. So if you take any of these metrics, and we have here the unit for this metric, like attenuation, for example, to the handbar. We're talking again about suspension fork. So the attenuation to the handbar is one of the metrics which I would like to use to reflect 1 and 3 needs. What are these 1 and 3 here? Reduces vibration to the handbar, as you can see here. So I can simply just have all of these specifications with their units, and here the importance rating of metric is derived from the importance rating of the need it reflects. Now, for cases in which one metric is directly mapped to a single only, like this one here, for example, metric, the importance rating of the need becomes simply the importance rating of the metric. A good visual way to really understand how these metrics and customer needs are connected is to use this needs matrix. So this is a matrix which links really the needs to the metrics, to your performance metrics. And then you have the dots, as you can see here, for example, here, this one shows that all of these metrics will have to be used to reflect only this need, okay? Now, we said, so far what do we have is simply, we have customer needs, a list of customer needs. These are the need statements. This is my reference. I translated this into metrics, but now I need values for these metrics. If I tell you, for example, that suspension attenuation is this amount, I need to make sure that as a target, I specify that my product is going to achieve this target specification. So I need to come up with values. Just coming up with metrics is not enough really to develop your product. So how to come up with these values is simply by benchmarking. So here, as you can see, for each, we have here these competitors, which they basically produce similar product. And we have the metrics here as rows, and we have their values. So basically, you look at what others are doing by looking at other competitors, other similar products, and you can basically fill out this table with all metric values for the metrics of interest for your product. So now you know exactly similar products, what type of metrics or what type of performance they have. And this is why I mentioned this is the language you have to use as a development team to position your product. Because simply now by looking at all of these performance metrics and their values, you can say that, okay, I would like my product to be positioned this way. I'm going to over exceed other competitors in this aspect because this is an important need I need to address. Maybe the weight, for example, of the product is crucial, like if you are dealing with jet engines or something similar, the weight is very important. But however, you will learn later on that these are again target specifications. You might not be able, if you would like to achieve it and you would like to use a special type of material to achieve a lightweight product, then you might end up with paying a lot of manufacturing costs. So there are a lot of trade-offs down the road. So after you do the benchmarking, you go back to your product and you assign ideal values for your matrix and then marginally accepted values. These decisions again are facilitated by what I just showed to you by the benchmarking of similar products. Okay, so now we have the customer needs identified. We established target specifications. Now we need to come up with concept solutions for our product. And a concept solution here basically just a technical description of how the product will satisfy the customer needs. Maybe it is, we can say a concept is an approximation or approximate description of technology working principle and the form of the product. And as always, even for this one, again, I'm talking now about how to generate concept or product concepts. There is also a process. So we had a process for identifying customer needs, another process to be able to establish the target specifications, And now I'm talking about the process which you will have to follow to be able to generate concepts. You need to clarify the problem. You need to search externally and internally. Then you need to have a systematical approach to be able to explore different concept solutions or fragments, and you reflect as always on these solutions. Let's go to the clarify first. So now I would like to clarify. Clarifying the problem consists of developing a general understanding and then breaking the problem down into sub problems if necessary. And if you have a little bit sophisticated product, you will have to basically, to be able to understand the problem, to understand how to design the product, you need really to decompose this problem into different sub-problems. So you will have, if you have, again, a complex product to solve, it's much easier to deal with individual, and you divide your problem into individual problems and you deal with these sub-problems. The goal of these decomposition techniques, all of these, is again to divide into simpler problems. It is also very crucial to understand that when you decompose these sub-problems, basically you can in a better way to determine which one are critical for the success of your product, and you start with these concepts first. Okay, now after you understand and you clarify the problem, I want to come up with concepts. So far I have no clue about my product except I would like to achieve these specifications for my product, and I know exactly the customer needs. So the first step, so we need to decompose the problem. One technique is to do this functionally. So to do so, you consider your product as black box simply, and this black box operates on energy, material, and signal. I will give you an example about like a power tool, a nailer device, and how this nailer device can be, for example, decomposed into, you can consider it again as a handheld nailer here. This is just a black box. And then the next is to divide this single black box into sub-functions to create more specific description of what the elements of your product might do in order to implement the overall function of the product. Okay, so this gives you a better description of how all of these sub-functions is going to achieve the overall goal and the overall functionality of your product. Again, you have to note that at this stage, we are not trying to imply any specific technological working principle here for the product. Okay, as an example, like when we say isolate nail, again, this is a handheld nailer. This is the product under development. As you can see here, by following the functional decomposition, you can say that the energy is what really the handheld nailer would require to operate, and sometimes you need to convert this energy to translational energy. And then you have the material basically is the nails, and the signal here is the trip of the tool. Okay, now the second step in your concept generation is to do external search. External search involves dealing with or talking to lead users. For example, if we are talking about the nailer here, maybe you can decide to go and talk to building contractors who are really exposed to many similar tools from many manufacturers. and they would really make very interesting observation about the weaknesses of such existing tools. Benchmarking also, you need to study existing products with functionality similar to that under development. Again, benchmarking always can reveal existing concepts that have been implemented to solve particular similar problems. Dealing with experts with knowledge of one or more of the sub-problems for your product, not only can provide solution concepts directly, but also they can really redirect your search into a more fruitful area. So dealing with experts also would really help to direct you and make sure that you are on the right track. Patents is really rich and readily available source of technical informations. A lot of designers and product developers, they forget to check what are the patents out there. Again, you can easily find these patents. The only problem or disadvantage of these patents that if it's very recent patent, you have to be careful that there might be royalty involved in using this patent. So you have either to avoid or to license this patent. And by the way, this is just an example of one of the patents here. This is a motor-driven, a double flywheel nailer, okay? And this design uses like the accumulation of rotational kinetic energy in these two flywheels, which suddenly converted into translational energy by friction clutch. The energy here, as you can see, is delivered to the nail with a single impact pin. So you see this pin here. What's next? You need also always to do internal search. Internal search simply means, just to remind you, we clarified we are trying to generate some concepts for our product. We try to understand, we search externally, we search internally, and so now we are talking about how to search internally, and this is simply brainstorming, and most of us really are aware about how to conduct brainstorming sessions, how to make sure you don't criticize at early stages, how to make sure you let others to explain their ideas, and then you try to improve these ideas. As a hence also, expert designers always ask themselves, I wish we could do this, or wonder, which means I wonder what would happen if I do this. All of these are good questions to ask. The same for making analogy also. Again, experienced designers, they think about whether this problem exists at larger or smaller dimensional scale than what you are dealing with. They also ask themselves if there is any natural or biological scale for the idea being tackled here. Just because of the time, I would like you just to give you an impression about concept, because you will, after you subdivide your problem into a lot of sub-problems, you will have to come up with concept, solution, or fragment for each of these sub-problems. One example here, for like if you go through this nailer, You see this one here. If I would like to go this is one of the sub-problems for the nailer device. I can, for each of these sub-problems, like convert energy to translational energy, accumulate energy, or apply this energy to nail. So you can come up with really different concepts. These are called fragments. Now you need to experience different combinations of these fragments. For example, if I select this concept, with this concept, then I might come up with this one. So here we are using rotary motor with transmission. We are using as to accumulate energy as spring, and we are using to apply this energy to nail just a single impact. This is another example, shows exactly that. You can also use rotary with a spring, but you select as a concept to have multiple impacts, and then you come up with this sketch accordingly. Another example could be solenoid with a spring with multiple impacts. Also, you will come up with such sketch. Or even linear motor instead of rotary motor with moving mass instead of spring, and then use single impact. Also, you will come up with different concept solutions. You can imagine how many concept solutions do we have. So here, how many combinations? We have 4 by 2 by 3. So this is 24. There are many techniques to reduce this number of combinations, but what I would like you to understand that these, you need really to select, you need to follow some systematic approach to be able to select the best concept for your device, which really meet all of the customer needs. I would like to show you this now. After I come up with a concept, I have an idea about the limitation of my concepts. So we translated customer needs into specifications, and these are target specifications, just to position my product in the market. Now, I came up with different concepts, and I selected the best concept for my product. So I have an idea about the product. Then I can finalize. I need to revisit my target specifications and finalize these specifications. This is a hard time because you need to set really, and as a development team, you need to take hard decisions about many trade-offs, which are most probably between different performance metrics and the cost. As you can see here, for only one metric for that suspension, and you can here, for each metric, if you recall, we had ideal value for the metric and we have marginally accepted value. So this is where my product falls. Now, I have different competitors here, these red dots here for different competitors, and it shows, for example, this, competitor, this is the performance metric value for it, and this is the cost for that if I would like to implement this concept. So then I came up with different concepts here. These are the concepts which I came up with for that specific metric. Then I can really select where I need to position. I can do the trade-off between the cost and the metric. If the cost is very high and I'm concerned about the cost, then most probably you will have to lower your expectations and you have to select a little bit lower performance for your product. And by doing so, after doing all of these trade-offs, you will set your final specifications of the product. I was able, unfortunately, I was not able really to complete the whole journey, but just to go back to wrap up this workshop, after having all of these concepts developed, or you select the concept for your product, integrate different concepts for different subsystems, then you go for the system level design, detailed design, testing, refinement, and then production ramp up. And as the name implies here, this is a little bit more technical details about really the specifications and the drawings, the blueprints, production, manufacturing. So there are a lot of technical information here And for every of these stages, you will have to go back and refine your design and your specifications accordingly until you reach a point you go for alpha or beta products before you really go for the ongoing production. So if you have any question, please let me know. I'm not sure about how much time do we have for questions and answers, but I will be more than happy to answer your questions. So, are there companies in Doha globally help out in this? Yes, globally there are a lot of companies which are meant to help in the whole cycle of design and development, but it's really costly. We have in Texas A&M University a very good team in which if you are really interested, we can help out up to some extent in at least guiding you. And we already are doing this with some startups in QSTB and other places. Unfortunately, in Qatar, I have, to the best of my knowledge, I don't know if there's any. I don't think there's any company which really help in such detailed, thorough way of product design and development. Most of the companies, they really deal about the business side. And unfortunately, this is not enough really to push a successful product to the market. You really need to have not only technical team, but team aware about all of these details. Because as you can see here, there is really a process for every single stage in your cycle. And all of these would really ensure that you can successfully push your product to the market. And it deals with many aspects as well. So if you have a real need, please feel free to reach out to us in Texas A&M University. My contacts is, you can just simply go to the Texas A&M website and you Google my name, you will get my contacts. Thank you very much. Thank you.